Peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tap in with the kid before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully, y'all are having a powerful Tuesday thus far, February 7th. Staying healthy, positive, powerful, productive, efficient, black, original, authentic, all that good stuff, man. Give y'all about 3 to 5 minutes to tap in with the kid before we start building on the subject matter, man. Let me know how y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Tuesday. What's the word? Y'all see the subject matter, man. We talking about what you have to do before you change, before you evolve, grow, transform, whatever the word or phrase you want to utilize. What must take place before that happens. But what's the word? How everybody living and feeling? Salacious, Ricky, peace. What's happening? What's the word? How y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Tuesday? We dealing with the seventh. Today's mathematics is God. Y'all already know how we see that. Every time I look at my original brothers, man, I'm looking at God in the flesh. Somebody that operates utilizing his highest form of intelligence. And that's how we got to move, brothers. When you break down the acronym of God, you see good, orderly direction. That's what you got to supply and provide, whether it be to your queen, whether it be to your kids, whether it be to the youth, whether it be to yourself. Good, orderly direction is what we should all be supplying and provide. So make sure you provide that good, orderly direction. That's what a God does. Good, orderly direction. Somebody come to you for guidance, man, you're going to lead them in the right direction. You're not going to lead them astray. That's what the original man does. You got a queen in your corner, you're going to lead her in the right direction. You're going to lead yourself in the right direction. D, peace, what's happening? So that's the math for the day. We got to always utilize that higher form of intelligence, and we got to always lead ourselves and the people around us with that good, orderly direction. That's right and exact. That's the righteous way of living. That's how the righteous live. And the original people, we righteous by nature. So hey, let that nature flourish, man. Let that nature prosper. And we all gonna be wealthy, man. We all gonna be healthy because it's in our nature to be so. Boom, peace. What's happening? But we talking about change. We talking about elevation, evolution, growth, transformation. Like I said, whichever words you want to utilize and what must happen before one does that. A lot of people say admit. You must admit you have a problem in order for you to change, in order for you to solve the problem and things like that. And I look at it like you have to accept. A lot of us, man, this is accountability. This is self-examination, self-evaluation, whatever the phrase you want to utilize, man. A lot of us have a problem looking into the mirror, accepting problems that we have, accepting flaws, accepting faults and things like that. Man, nothing is wrong with having a problem. Nothing is wrong with being sick. The only thing that's wrong with it is if you acknowledge it and you don't strive to do anything to change the condition. That's the problem. But again, like I said in the previous stream, how can you solve anything if you don't accept or admit that there is a problem in the first place? And that's how a lot of people are walking around these days. We're walking around and we're not admitting and accepting the fact that we have a problem. So if we don't admit and accept these facts, then things will not change for us, man. So you got to look in the mirror and say, man, something is wrong with me. I have a problem, and that's cool. So now it's time for me to put in the work and solve said problem. But you got to accept it, man. You got to admit it. You got to acknowledge it, and you have to accept it. That's like the 3 A's. Don't run from it, man. If you know deep down something is wrong, man, you got to look in that mirror and say, man, there's something wrong with me. It's something up. Ask yourself the right questions, man, and you're going to come up with the right answers in regards to what that problem may be. And when you get that answer, or when you get those answers, it's time for you to admit it, acknowledge it, and accept it. And then it's time to put in the work in regards to the solution so that we can solve this problem, so that we can evolve and elevate as men, as women. That's a crucial part of that process. But man, people don't look in the mirror. We like to place blame on external circumstances in regards to why we have the problems that we have. And we got to stop doing that. We again blame anything and everybody for why we going through what we going through. The moment you do that, reversing any condition, changing and evolving, like it's out of the window, because you don't think you're responsible for what has happened to you. You don't think you have any role or position in what has happened to you. You have rendered yourself powerless. And when you render yourself powerless, there's no way that you can change this situation and circumstance. So you got to stop rendering yourself powerless, man. You got to stop removing your power from your situation and your circumstances and killing your ability to evolve, and transcend above your circumstance, your current circumstances. So start looking in the mirror, man, and accepting or acknowledging, admitting, and accepting problems that you have, man. Whether it be a health condition, mentally or physically, whether it be a financial situation, whether it be a relationship situation, man, admit that you have these problems, man. Admit your role in it and accept it, man. It's cool. That's how I have made a lot of the changes that I have made in life, because I had to accept some things. I had to accept the habits that I currently had at the time were bad, were negative, were self-destructive. I had to accept that first before I was able to adopt new habits. I would have never adopted the new habits if I would have never accepted or admitted that my habits, my original habits, were bad and destructive. So I had to evaluate my current habits at the time and say, man, these habits are not leading me in the proper direction. These are some destructive habits. I don't feel good with these habits. Let me reevaluate. Let me study some more. Let me see if I can figure out or find out or discover some new habits, some more positive and healthy habits. But at first, I had to accept the fact that the habits that I had at the time were destructive, were not healthy, were toxic. So that led to change, man. That's how you change. But again, man, a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid of that, man. A lot of people run from that, which is why you got a lot of people that's stagnant, a lot of people that's complacent and content, a lot of people that's cool with not growing, not evolving, to the point where when you try to drop some gems or drop some jewels on them, they not receptive, because they don't think that they have a problem, and they think that everybody else has a problem but them. And if everybody else just acted right, then they'll be in a different position. If that's how you're gonna live your life, man, that's a pitiful life. That's a pitiful life. That's a pitiful life. Miss Nia, Peach Queen, what's happening? That's a pitiful life. Like, I'm way beyond that. Even if somebody played a role in something that happened to me, I don't care, because I don't control that, man. I don't control these other people and whatever they did. I can control how I responded, reacted, and perceived what they did. I can only control what I did. So that's the most important thing. So I don't really even care about these other folks' role. I may acknowledge it, but I'm gonna move on quickly from whatever they did. I'm more so focused on what I did, how I contributed to my current situation and circumstance, not the role that anybody else played. Thunder Scorpion, peace. What's happening, my brother? Many times, even in regards to eating healthy and exercising, I've seen people blame the spouse, blame the girlfriend and boyfriend. Well, at the end of the day, when the girlfriend wanted to eat the toxic food, you said yes. That's the problem right there. You didn't have to say yes to that. So that's on you. I don't care how much she's tempting you to eat the bad foods, because that's what she always craving and wanting. You keep saying yes, so you lacking the discipline. You lacking the power to say, nah, I'm not eating that, I'm gonna eat this. That's on you. That's what I'm gonna focus on. I'm gonna focus on the fact that I keep saying yes when people tempt me with the bad food. That's more of a problem than the people tempting me. They gonna do what they gonna do. I don't have to say yes to it though. And the more times I say no, the least times they gonna ask me or continue to ask me. So you gotta just tell these people, no, I'm not, man, I'm good. I'm not eating that. I don't eat this nonsense. Then they're gonna stop asking you. And that goes for your spouse, that goes for anybody. Miami Soldier, Severe Peace, what's happening? Tell people no. Like, you don't have to tell people yes. You don't have to do that every time. It's cool to tell somebody no, especially if it's revolving around your principles. If one part of your principles is good health, maintaining good health, and the food that they are suggesting doesn't align with that principle, you must say no. Don't be like, yeah, because I ain't want to do X, Y, and Z. I didn't want to make such and such mad. I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to be disrespectful, or I didn't want to deprive. had them feeling deprived. Man, forget all of that. Forget all of that, man. We making knowledge born, man. I'm gonna let you know out the gate. This is how I'm eating. This is how I rock. So when you, first of all, it's disrespectful if you come out the gate trying to get me to eat something that is not in alignment with what I have said. You know, but I might brush past that, and I'm gonna simply hit you with no, I'm good. Every time you ask me. Now, if you continue to ask me, I'm gonna let you know that you crossing a line, man. You know, but I'm gonna just tell you no. And the more times you tell these people no, like, boom, there we go. Problem is solved. But we like to say yes to these people and then blame these people for us saying yes by saying they tempted us. You that weak? Like, that's a weakness, man. I'm not about to be placing blame on anybody. Bobby, peace. What's happening, my brother? I'm not about to place that blame on anybody. They asked you, did you want something? They didn't put a gun in your head and said, hey, you must do X, Y, and Z. They asked you, did you want to do something? And you responded with a yes. You responded with a yes. You could have simply said no. I don't care what the consequences would have been if you said no, but you could have easily said no. So we gotta stop all of that nonsense, man. Like I said in the upload that I uploaded yesterday, man, I was reading a book, The 5 Levels of Attachment, and they talked about Shakir, peace, what's happening. And in that book, they talked about our lives, like our current position in life is a reflection of all our yeses and nos up to this point. And that's right and exact. Where you are at right now in your life is a reflection of all the yeses and nos that you have made up to this point. That, I mean, that's 100% right and exact. And it resonated with me for that reason. 100% right and exact. When you analyze your current position in life, I guarantee you, when you add up all the yeses and add up all the nos, it will explain exactly why you are where you are at right now. Guarantee it. I guarantee it. So that hit home with me. You know, I had to evaluate some things. I had to tap into self when I read that quote. I was like, man, that's pretty powerful. I ain't never really heard it phrased like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never really heard it phrased like that. So I like that, man. And it resonated with me, and it's going to stick with me. Yeah, 5 Levels of Attachment. I think it was written by, I don't even think. It was written by the son of the dude that wrote the book, the 4 Agreements or something like that. It was the son wrote this book, The 5 Levels of Attachment. But yeah, man, it was like basically your life right now is a reflection of all the yeses and nos that you have made up to this point. That's on point. That's on point. You know, and it made me tap into being afraid to say no and mastering the art of saying no. You know, these yeses get us in trouble. Like, these yeses get us in trouble, man. These yeses destroy us. You know, we be saying, we say yes under the guise of like trying not to hurt folks' feelings, man. Hey, some of us some of us ended up in relationships because we didn't want to say no to hurt somebody's feelings. Let's be real. You know, back in the day, you probably ended up in a relationship and you swear you don't understand how you ended up in it. And you probably was in that relationship because you ain't know how to say no, or you didn't want to say no to a person to hurt their feelings. So you ended up in a situation off of the strength of that. Some of us been in those type of relationships and situations, man, where you couldn't tell a person no. Like, you ended up in a relationship because you couldn't tell a person no because you didn't want to hurt their feelings. And you didn't ended up in an 8-month-long relationship all because you couldn't say no to a person. You ain't really want to be with them, but you couldn't tell them no. You saw this person was really admired you, really liked you, was really obsessed with you, whatever the case may be, and you ain't want to hurt their feelings. So you played along with it for 8 months, all because you ain't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Man, people done been in these situations, man. I know I ain't the only one. We done been in these situations. We done been there. You done been in a year-long relationship because you couldn't tell somebody no. And you look back on it and was like, man, how I end up talking to such and such? I don't even remember how that became a thing. It's because you couldn't tell them no. So before you know it, y'all a thing because you just couldn't say no. You might not have even said yes, but you just didn't say no. you know. So that's how that happened, you know. So a lot of us that ended up in relationships because we couldn't say no. We couldn't tell a person no. Like I said, I know I'm not the only one. I was in several situations in high school like that to where I just couldn't even say no. Like I ain't even want to hurt nobody's feelings, you know. I'm like, dang, man, I ain't got no legit reason right now, so I couldn't say no. So next thing you know, you talking to this person, it's been 8 months. Been there, done that. Chad E. Peace, what's happening? Oh, D for sure. Yeah, this book, man, I read it in like 2 days, man. It's a short and easy read. I got it right here. 5 levels of attachment, man. I got it right here. I just finished that joint. Light work, you know, but it's filled with a lot of jewels, in my opinion, man. Especially you take the jewels and you apply them to your life, which is what you're supposed to do. I feel like it'll help. It'll help with detachment. You know, I talk about the detachment philosophy and concept a lot. This is one of the books that I feel like will help with that. You know, it will help a person become more detached, and it will help you understand the whole concept of detachment better if you do not understand it. A lot of people do not understand that concept. This is one of the books that I feel like will help you gain an understanding of what it means to be detached and why it's not necessarily a negative thing. And if anything, attachment, being attached, is more negative than being detached, you know. And being attached and things like that is way more selfish than being detached, you know. So this book kind of confirms that, validates that, and breaks it down, you know. I'm always saying that, you know. I'm a big advocate of being detached and learning and mastering the art of detachment and the science of detachment and applying it to your life. It's one of the best things that you will be able to do because it will help you maneuver through life. It will help you deal with some turbulent times. It will help you deal with some tragic times when you learn about detachment and you master it. Ray, what you say? My prime date couldn't tell her no, ended up in a small relationship. Facts. Facts, man. The person I ended up going to prom with my junior year, it was like a situation like that. To this day, I don't remember ever agreeing to be in the relationship. I don't know how it happened. It just happened. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we didn't been in situations to where you look back on it, it's like, dag, I don't remember ever saying yes to that, but I don't remember saying no neither. So it kind of just unfolded like that. Ended up in a situation. And then like the way you got to break it off is awkward too. Because again, it's coming from a person that you ain't trying to break folks' feelings. So you gonna break this off in the worst way possible. And that's why a lot of times I used to go ghost. Yeah, it wasn't the right thing to do, but man, I just vanished off the planet. I stopped talking, all this type of good stuff. You know, so it ended up being worse doing it like that, opposed to just saying no. And at the end of the day, that's why I say saying no is a lot easier. Because when you say yes and you didn't mean it, then now you're gonna string along a situation for some years, for some months, just for you to have to eventually break it off anyway and have that conversation. And that conversation is that much more difficult, opposed to just saying no in the first place. Man, just say no initially. If you don't want to do something, if you don't want to fool with somebody, or you don't want to fool with a circumstance or situation, say no initially. Trust me, it will save you that awkward and difficult conversation later down the line. That is a very hard conversation to have, man. When you didn't want to be in something initially, but you ended up in it because you didn't want to say no, and it's like 2 years in, and now you like, I can't do this no more. Never really wanted to do it. Now you got to have a weird conversation because they're gonna be like, well, why did you string me along for 2 years? And you're gonna be like, yep, there it goes. Didn't know how to say no. Like, this is a problem that we have. What you say, Thunder? You say not saying no due to fear of offending, making someone else mad, uncomfortable, has got me caught up in the, man. I'm trying to tell you, it has destroyed me. You know, it has destroyed me, man, just looking out for folks' feelings. And at the end of the day, these same folks, or at least most of them, they won't look out for your feelings. They'll tell you no with the quickness. See, I was one of them ones, man. I'm going, hey, if I consider you people, like I'm rocking with you like we family, man. If I really rock with you like that, you know, so man, if I got the time and I got the ability to help you, I'm helping you. But then it's like in the same boat, these same people, when you need somebody to be there for you, man, they MIA, you know, and that's currently why I don't really too much rock with a lot of people. you know, and I don't even have an inner circle. Like I said, that joint more like a seat. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't been there, done that. I didn't like my family then brought some people in like family that, you know what I'm saying, that I was rocking with, you know, and when they went through some situations and circumstances, man, I'm there for them. Like they need a ride to work, and man, I got you. But then it's like the one little time that you might need something, they like, nah, I can't do it. So they won't hesitate to say no to you. Whole while you've been trying to preserve their feelings, and anytime they ask you for some assistance, you like, yeah, even if you ain't got it. But the one time you need something, they don't hesitate to say no. I'm good on that. You know, that's why I severely limited my cipher and whatnot. Man, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. Like that's too stressful, and that brings you down. You know what I'm saying? Like that brings you down when you start analyzing that. You know, you go out of your way for people, and man, you ain't even asking them to really go out of your way numerous times for you. It's just the one time you might need something, because I'm not a person that's gonna ask for anything. You know, so it might be the one time where you might be going through something that you just, and this is what we get for like expectations. That's why I didn't drop all of that. But the one time you expect these people to come through for you, they don't. But that's what we get for having them expectations. That's why I started to master and learn things like detachment. They tell you to rid yourself of these expectations. I don't put anything past anyone. I don't put anything past anyone, man. So again, like the way that you act, you can't expect for other people to act like that. You know, I'm one of the ones, man. I didn't pulled up, man. I got clients. I didn't pulled up I didn't pulled up when they didn't have family members pass. I didn't pulled up at the funeral. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know the family member, but I'm at the funeral for about 10 minutes. I pulls up. You know what I'm saying? Like if I know you, if we got any type of relationship, man, and you going through something, man, I'm gonna show my support. That's what I do. But I don't expect that from everybody else. That's just how I move. That's just how I am. That's not how everybody else is. And it took me a minute to grasp that concept and that outlook. You know, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, man, if I do this for you, I expect for you to at least try to reciprocate that energy. Now, the reciprocation from your good deeds may not come from the people that you dish it out to. So I had to understand that, man. So if I do good to you, if I loan you $100, I'm gonna get 1,000 back, but it ain't gonna come from the person that I gave 100 to. You know, so when I give assistance, when I help people out, like man, I'm not expecting that in return, unless we make some type of agreement. You know, but other than that, if I give you something, man, it's because I wanted to give it to you. I'm not giving you this expecting for you to give it back. You know, I don't have any expectation on that end. I'm giving you this 100 because I wanted to give you this 100, and whatever you do with it, that's on you. Because I'm gonna get mine back plus interest. That's how that works. And it might not come back. It might come back from you, but more than likely, it's probably not. But I'm gonna still get it back. So I'm gonna get my return back. I'm gonna get my return on my investment back plus the interest. You know, so that's why I give the way that I give. Like if I give anybody anything, it's because I genuinely wanted to, not because I expect for you to pay me back. If you pay me back, that's fine. If not, guess what? That's still fine because I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get it back because I have pure intentions. I have genuine intentions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving you this money. I'm not giving you this assistance with a whole attitude like, man, I'm getting sick of such and such asking me for money. They don't never pay me back, but I'm gonna give it to them anyway. Like, nah, your intentions are kind of bad and negative and whatnot. Somebody asked me for something. If I got it, boom. If I feel like giving it, here you go. Because I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna receive something for that. That's the way that it works. All right, for sure. Always got to be vocal, man. And I'm getting better with that. You know, I'm one of the ones, man. I deal with silence. That's when I'm in my happy place. When I'm silent, I don't have to talk. You know what I'm saying? I could be silent for hours and I'm good. I'm neutral. I'm at peace. You know, but I'm working on getting more vocal. You know, just verbalizing and letting people know what it is, so we don't have any misunderstandings. You know, that's the best thing that you can do. You know, so I'm definitely working on that, man. Being more vocal about feelings and emotions and just stances and principles, So people just know what it is. Like I said, so we don't have any misunderstandings and we don't get anything misconstrued. Let me go ahead and be vocal about where I stand on this issue. You know, and that's how I used to be that way early on, but I used to be a little more aggressive with it. And that's why when it comes to certain topics and subject matters, when I'm amongst family members and associates and things like that, they don't want to bring it up around me because I'm vocal about certain things and I get passionate about it. And I'm not afraid to speak on it. You know, so hey, when people know where you coming from, it's like certain things, they won't even bring it up around you. And I like that. CEO, peace, what's happening? MC, peace, what's happening? You know, I likes that. You know, when you stand firm on something, when people know what you stand for and stand on, there's no misunderstandings. You know, so if they bring something up around you, they already know what type of energy you coming with, so it ain't gonna catch them by surprise. But if they don't know what you stand on, then they don't know that this is offending you. You know, so you can't get mad when somebody says something that offends you, but they had no knowledge that this is offensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna get mad at somebody for talking about Islam, but they ain't know you was a Muslim? You gotta let them know that you're a Muslim, so they won't talk about it. And if they do talk about it, then now they just being disrespectful and ignorant on purpose. So now we got a bigger issue, you know. But you can't get mad at somebody for saying something and they had no knowledge that you were associated with it. You got to let people know what it is that you own, what you represent, whether they like it or not, whether it's going to cause debate and argument or not. Let them know what you stand on and stand for, so they won't just be yapping at the mouth ignorantly, not knowing that you associated with it. Let them know. Like, hey, if you touch on this subject, if you talk about this, then I'm going to have to intervene because this is a part of me. It's a part of my foundation. So I'm just letting you know, before you start running off at the mouth, because it sounds like you about to go there with this subject matter, be mindful. This is something that I represent, something that I stand on. MC, I'm trying to tell you, you know, letting stuff slide, man, that could be unhealthy for us. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the problem is we think we let it slide, but really we just suppressed it. Really, we wanted to say something, but we didn't, and we suppressed that energy. That's more toxic than anything. You know, when somebody do something you don't like, man, we gotta address that. Like, nah, I ain't gonna let you slide because you gonna do it again. You let somebody slide, like, and then again, like I said, that ain't their fault because you didn't let them know you had a problem. You know, so they don't think nothing of it. You gotta point out the stuff that people doing, or else they gonna think it's cool. So if you don't ever tell them, like, man, I don't like what you just did, they not gonna think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna think nothing of what they did. They're not gonna think that what they just did was offensive because we not letting them know. So you gotta let them know, hey man, I don't like you said such and such. I ain't really too much like what you said. Now that's gonna cause them to introspect, or at least it should. If it don't, then we know what type of food we dealing with. Like literally a food. You know, so we just gotta let it be known. Like I said, I'm not much of a talker, contrary to me even being on here. Like, that's uncomfortable for me. I'm not one to initiate conversations, but I'm working on that. Gotta let people know what it is. Gotta let people know where you at. Even if, like, when you having a bad day, this stuff goes a long way. You having a bad day, you gotta let people know around you. Like, man, I ain't having the best day. Hopefully it turn around, but right now I'm not in the best space. So then when you might, like, people might approach you differently, opposed to you not saying anything, and then people trying to approach you in a certain way, and they looking like, what's wrong with dude? Thinking you got thinking you straight got a problem. Like, nah, when you come out the gate, let them know, man, I ain't having the best day. They gonna already have the knowledge, like, man, dude ain't really feeling it today. So they gonna change the approach towards you. Or at least they should. Carlton, peace, what's happening? Oh yeah, MC, yeah, it's definitely unhealthy in relationships. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of unhealthy practices in relationships, man. And the book that I brought up, The 5 Levels of Attachment, it starts to speak on that stuff towards the end. You know, but A lot of our relationships are rooted in obsessions, are rooted in attachments to ideals. You know what I'm saying? To like just fantasies, uh, false realities, false narratives. You know, we paint pictures of like potential, like we see something in a person and we just hoping that this person is going to unfold in a manner that we like, in the potential that we see. Like we gonna hope they fulfill this potential. Oh wow, the potential that we see in them might not be the future that, like the picture that they paint for themselves. I don't like that. Accept people for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like learn to accept people for who they are, man. And let them evolve how they gonna evolve. Stop painting this false picture, this false image in your mind of a person. Like if such and such just do X, Y, and Z, then he could amount to this and she could amount to that. They may not want to do X, Y, and Z. That may not be the road that they want to travel down. So that's on you if you get into a relationship based off of potential, what you see in a person, what they could possibly turn out to be, and they don't turn out to be that. That's your fault because they may not have had that vision for themselves. They may not have had that vision for themselves. This whole thing, this whole perception that you have towards them might make them a miserable person if they fulfill it. You don't know. You don't know. You know, so we be doing a lot of things like that in relationships, man, and it's just trash, man. We attach ourselves to what a person has, you know, the materials, when at the end of the day, these material items can be gone in 1 second. Wow. It's nothing for these material items to be gone. It's nothing for a person to lose the material items. It's nothing for a person to lose the 6-figure job that they have or that they own, whatever the case may be, man. Anything can happen in life. You know, so these material items, man, can easily be lost, you know? So you got to tap into the essence of a person. You know, without the material objects, what does that person have? You got to tap into the substance, the essence of that person. That's when you really start to connect and vibe and form that powerful bond. But a lot of folks, man, they attach to the physical. Yeah, that's going to catch the eye initially, but that ain't enough to sustain a relationship. So yeah, I like what I see, but I don't like what I hear from what I see. So if I don't like what I hear from what I see, there's no way that this relationship could last, man. Them looks going to fade, just like the fancy cars that this brother is driving or the nice, like all of that could eventually fade. Yeah, they got a nice home with a bunch of stairs and steps and things like that. But then when y'all get 60, when y'all get too old, them steps killing y'all. You tired of those steps. Then what? You know what I'm saying? So like all of this stuff fades and whatnot, man. Clocks in, Born Again Daily. Peace, what's happening? You know, that's why a lot of these situations don't work, because we get into them for the wrong reasons. And then we actually are forced to sit down and talk to our partner. We realize we ain't got nothing in common. We realize this person is shallow-minded. We realize this person ain't got any substance. We start to realize these things, and we have to sit down and have a conversation with them. You know, so man, we get into these relationships, marriages, whatever the case may be, for the absolute wrong reasons. Absolutely. We be obsessed. You know, we be attracted to the physical way too much. We be attracted to the materials way too much. We be attracted to a status way too much. We be attracted to a label way too much. These things don't signify or symbolize any type of love, fam. Kurt, peace, what's happening? They don't. You can take away all these things and still have love at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But we be attaching ourselves to these things, man, to these labels. You know what I'm saying? To these titles, to these statuses, to these material objects. Women want to flash a ring. Like that ring means anything. You know how many women out here got rings and getting cheated on? But you couldn't wait to flash off this ring in front of your homegirls like that meant anything. You know, that's a status. It's a status symbol that means absolutely nothing. Dude just got you that just to shut you up. You know what I'm saying? And you going around bragging in front of your homegirl, showing it off like it means anything. It does not. Doesn't mean absolutely anything, but you want a brother to break the bank to get you this ring. That means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. You know, Western society got y'all bamboozled. You want bro to break the bank, get you this ring just to still do you dirty if that's what he gonna do anyway. You know, so that's what it is. These are the type of things that y'all be looking out for. If he like it, then he better put a ring on it. That ring don't mean anything. They can put. There's plenty of people that got the ring, man. Y'all, what are the divorce rates? What's the recent percentage? All of these people, all these women that ended up divorced, got rings. So again, somebody liked them, put a ring on it, but what did that solve? What did that prevent? What did that stop? That don't symbolize true love. Sorry to inform you. Sorry to inform you. So again, people, we attach to the wrong things, man, and we think these things signify or symbolize something that it doesn't. And then we be so heartbroken when things end the way that they do. Because you thought that ring, you thought him giving you that ring meant something. It don't. You know, so you attach yourself to this concept and this status symbol. So then when something happens, you be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Well, that's your fault. It's your fault. That's your fault for believing that, for being that gullible and naive to think, oh, because somebody got me a ring, or because somebody bought me this, or because she cooking clean for me every night, she finna be faithful. Like, dude, nah. She could be cooking and cleaning for somebody else too. That's very much so possible. Clocks in 100%, man. You gotta get into a situation that where somebody accepts you for who you are currently. You know what I'm saying? And they not trying to make changes to you right now. You know, DJ Elmo Peace, what's happening? For real, man. We gotta accept people for who they are. Like for real, man. Like we all a work in progress, man. We all a work in progress. It don't take long to see who's actually striving to make changes and elevate and evolve. It don't take long to see who's about that life. It don't take long to see that. It don't take long to bear witness to that, man. But we all a work in progress, though. Ain't nobody got this thing 100% figured out. So we all a work in progress, man. So who are you to come into a relationship with me telling me all these things I need to do? Like, who are you? Like, I'm gonna look at somebody sideways. Like, man, who is you to tell me what I need to be doing, what I need to work on? Focus on yourself. I'm 32. I've been with myself for 32 years. I'm the best know of myself. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to work on. I done been with myself longer than anybody else on this planet. There is nobody on the planet that has been with you longer than you. So stop letting people tell you about yourself, because ain't nobody been with you as long as you have. So you should be the best of yourself, because you've been with yourself for the longest. Longer than anybody, longer than your parents, longer than anybody. Nobody has been with you this entire time but you. So stop letting other people tell you about yourself. They don't know. They ain't been walking with you every step of the way you have. So I ain't going for that, man. I know what I need to do, man. I'm very open about my flaws. You know what I'm saying? I'm very open about my faults. You know, and I suggest everybody else get on that. You know what I'm saying? You done been with yourself 32 years. You know what it is you need to work on. You better admit and accept these things. For real. You know, I'm always open about what I need to work on. Because like I said, been with myself 32 years. I know right from wrong. You know, I know what I've done that's wrong. I know what I've done that's right. I know what I'm doing that's wrong. I know what I'm doing that's right. You know, and we gotta work. I gotta work on those things. I gotta work on the things that I'm doing that's wrong in my eyes, that don't sit well with me. You know, I'm not about to be living in la la land like, nah, I ain't the one with a problem. It's everybody else. Like, nah, I got problems. You got problems. We all got problems. So I'm not ever about to be living in a world where I don't think I have anything to work on. And it's some people that's living like that. Like they got it all figured out and they don't need to make any adjustments and improvements. I feel sorry for you individuals because I'm not ever living like that. Never. There's always something I could change and tweak. You know what I'm saying? Always. Outcast, peace. What's happening? Clocks in for sure, man. 100%. 100%. You know, 100%. You know, folks, and that unfortunately, that's the reality of Western society. Western society to brainwash us, man. You know, unfortunately, that's what you bring into the table. All this type of good stuff. You know what I'm saying? They done created this whole table narrative. What you bring into the table? I'm bringing myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm bringing myself to the table and everything that comes with me. That's what I'm bringing to the table. I don't have to elaborate. I don't have to give you specific things that I'm bringing to the table. I'm bringing myself. I'm bringing myself. That's it. But Western society and brainwashed us and created a table narrative, and now they want to know how much money you bring to the table. You got the crib. How many kids you bring? Man, I'm bringing myself to this table and everything that come with me, and that's good and bad and indifferent. I'm bringing all of that to this table, and I'm a work in progress. I strive to elevate all the time, but I slip up. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing that to the table. I'm bringing that to the table. That's what I'm bringing myself to the table. That is it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm bringing myself to the table. I feel like I'm a very valuable person, so I'm bringing myself. That's what I'm bringing to the table. I got knowledge of self. I love myself, so that's what I'm bringing to this table. That self-love and that knowledge of myself, that's enough. That's enough. Cameron, peace, what's happening? That's enough. But you know, Western society got us brainwashed. So people looking at you like, what can you do for me? I don't need you. And they looking at it from a monetary perspective. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I can pay my bills on my own. That's very shallow thinking. That's westernized thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because you looking at it from a monetary standpoint. If we looking at it like that, we don't need women either. You know, but at the end of the day, we all need each other, man. You know, and it's deeper than like economics. You know what I'm saying? We gotta tap into the mental, we gotta tap into the emotional, we gotta tap into all of that. You know, the balance. That's why we need each other, man, to balance one another out. It's yin and yang. Every ancient society, which the Western society is trying to like eliminate, genderless societies and things like that. But every ancient society got the yin and yang. They got that. The yin and yang, the masculine and feminine. They got that, the negative, the positive, polarity, complementary. Every ancient society has that. That's what man and woman is. That's the masculine and feminine. We balance it. We complement one another. Balance. That's why we need each other, man. That's why you need that man. That's why I need that woman. Every ancient society teaches this, man. Every ancient spiritual society teaches it. They have some type of concept of the complementary principles. Every ancient society. Every ancient society. And notice I'm saying complement. So they don't take these two aspects and put them against each other. No, they complement one another. Western society will take the masculine and feminine and say, y'all have to go to war, y'all have to clash. No, the ancient society say, no, masculine and feminine, y'all complement each other, y'all come together and form one. That's what the ancient societies preach. That's what your ancestors taught. Western society say, nah, masculine and feminine, y'all different, y'all got to be at odds with one another. That's what they are instilling in us. And we have failed for the bait because we have been programmed by them over the years. I'm not feeding into that. I'm not about to be listening to a sister say she don't need no man. I'm exiting that so quick because I don't have time for that type of conversation. I don't have time to consume that. I don't have time to consume that. And I'm definitely not about to hear some brother talking about he don't need some women. Because at that moment, you having a rainbow conversation. I want no parts of that. Because I know I am not ever about to sit here and act like I don't need a woman at all. Nope. You will never hear that from me. You will never hear that type of conversation coming from me. My sisters, y'all are needed. I could not imagine a world in which it was just all brothers. I wouldn't want to live in that. I wouldn't want to do it. I'm just not, I don't want to live in that. You know, I wouldn't want to live in that type of society. I'm driving off the cliff, man. I'm not finna be living in society with no women. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not about to be talking crazy like that. I'm never about to talk crazy like that. That's a boring society for me. You know what I'm saying? So my sisters are very much needed. And I know y'all don't feel appreciated a lot of times because the wave of society is y'all get bashed a lot. We get bashed a lot. But man, hey, y'all are appreciated on this end. For real. I ain't trying to have no meat fest and live and be around a bunch of dudes all the time. And that's ridiculous. We need that feminine energy to balance us out. Man, I ain't got time for all masculine energy and egos and pride where I got to be fighting. Man, you're going to end up fighting all the time. Man, anybody got time for that? I ain't got time for it. You know, so I appreciate all the sisters that embrace the femininity. You know what I'm saying? Because that balances us out. You know, a truly masculine man, mentally and physically, needs that. You know what I'm saying? We need that emotion because we don't display it like, because that's just how we are. So we need somebody in our lives that will show us that vulnerable side that complements us because we hard and we solid. So we need that emotional, vulnerable side to complement us and balance us out. Like, we need to see that. We need to witness it. We need to experience it. You know what I'm saying? Because that helps us out, whether y'all know it or not. That helps us out. Sometimes it helps us become more vulnerable. But if I'm around, you know, y'all see what happens when we around a bunch of dudes. You know, we too solid. We hold in everything. You know what I'm saying? You get around the right type of woman that shows you that vulnerable side, shows you it's okay, and she accepts that and all that type of good stuff. Man, you're going to come out, you're going to be more vocal, verbal. You're going to express yourself more. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to find the right one. And all it takes is the right one. You just got to get it right one time. That's it. That's it. Get it right one time. But again, like I ain't trying to live in no society with a gang of dudes. I ain't trying to do that. I'm good on that. And I will hope the sisters feel the same way, that y'all not trying to live in a society with a bunch of sisters with no men. No, I don't, that ain't the type of vision I have. That's not my utopian society. Ray, I'm trying to tell you, man, what's happening in the streets. That's what we end up. We just kill each other, literally. And by we get tired of that, we gonna kill each other. It's just a bunch of dudes. We warn daily. That's what happened. We ain't got nobody to talk us down, talk us out of a situation. We gonna be fighting. We gonna be killing each other. We ain't got nobody to pull us away from the situation and be like, man, it ain't worth it. That testosterone will get the best of us, and we gonna kill each other, man. Like, for real, man. I don't have time for that, you know. So sisters are needed and y'all are appreciated. You know, if don't nobody else tell you, I'ma tell you. Like, we need that, we appreciate it at all times, you know. Big Black, that's what I'm saying. So you eliminate, like, the difference would be if you eliminate the sisters, then some of us brothers that's not doing it now, that's capable of doing it, we gonna start doing it. So then it's gonna be doubled and tripled. So the difference is, yeah, we killing each other now, but the difference is you got brothers such as myself that's got a lot of aggression. But man, I got a sister to balance it out. Well, you remove that, then I'm finna unleash. So that's what, then you have that. So if you take away the sisters, then the brothers such as myself that ticking time bombs, but we got people to talk us off the ledge, we gonna start snapping. Yeah, like we gonna start snapping. Then we gonna start killing people. Then it doubled and tripled. So you got plenty of brothers right now that more than capable of being that, but we not because we in situations. So that'd be the difference. Prodigal son, peace, what's happening? Clocks in. What you say? Any tips on finding the right one? Because I thought I did, but she ended up being the opposite. Hey, clocks in, like I always say, finding ain't even the thing to do. You know, it's gonna come to you. And like I said, you just got to get it right one time. Like I said, in my situation, I wasn't even looking for a relationship. Like, to be quite frankly, I didn't even want to be in one. I was in my last years of college, man. I was trying to figure my life out. You know, I was mastering self. I was focused on self. I wasn't even on that type of time, and it just came to me. You know, they tell you things come to you when you least expect it. You know, so when you fix it in your mind that you're trying to find the right one, all the people that you end up with during that time with that mind frame, they not gonna be the right one because you striving to find it. Like, no, when you eliminate that mindset and say, man, I ain't trying to find nothing, I ain't even focused on it, I'm focused on myself, then those people that come to you under that mentality, those are the ones you might want to focus on. But when you got a mentality where I'm like trying to find the right one, nah, like that ain't even how to go. That ain't even how to go about it. Things come to you, like great things come to you when you least expect them to. The real piece, what's happening? They come to you when you least expect them to. When you ain't even planning to be in the situation, that's when it comes to you. And that's unfortunate because a lot of times that's when we be like, nope. But like, that's when you got to really think about it. Like, if you in a situation where like, man, this might not be the best time for me to be in a relationship, but man, this sister I came across this sister and it seemed like she on point. You might want to evaluate that. Because like, man, you wasn't even focused on it, and you just so happened to come across a sister. You didn't just so happen to come across her for no reason. And even that could end up being wrong. Even that can end up being a bad situation. But your chances of that being the right type of situation is greater when you had that type of mentality. You know, because like I said, my situation, I was definitely not looking to be in any type of relationship, man. I was trying to graduate. You know, I was focused on school, getting out of that joint, and focusing on my next move or what I was finna do in my life. Like, that's where I was at. You know, I was the knowledge of self. I was going through all them processes, making dietary changes, man. I was literally elevating myself. I didn't care about anything outside of myself. And that's when the stuff comes to you, right at that moment. Right at that moment. You know, and then clocks in, even at the end of the day, that's what detachment is too. Look what you said. You say finding the right one because I thought I had the right one. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. At the end of the day, that can change instantly. So I don't cling to that. That's attachment. Even in my situation now, I'm not about to walk around and be like, we gonna be together. I don't know that. And that's just the reality. We could wake up a year from now and realize we've grown apart. So I don't attach myself to anything and anybody like that to the point where I'm like, yeah, I found somebody, we're going to be together forever. Man, you never know what can happen in life. You know, so I'm never about to be like, I thought she was the one. They say people come into your life in seasons. Man, if I'm with somebody for 20 years, I'm not going to sit back and say I thought she was the one. No, she came into my life at a time where she needed to come into my life, and I learned from that. So clocks in, she actually was the one that you needed at that time because you learned a lesson from what she put you through. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even attach myself to that to where I'm like, yeah, I got the one. Man, you can't never be 100% certain about that. Because people change every day, be as they say. So we can never be 100% certain that you with the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. You can never be 100% certain. The only thing constant in the universe is change, literally. So at any given moment, a person can change or your circumstance can change. And that's just the reality. People don't want to hear that. People want to always think they found a soulmate and they're going to live happily ever after. Man, that's not that. I don't live in that type of reality. That's attachment. So then when something doesn't go right and when y'all got to break apart, now you heartbroken and you can't live because you attached yourself to this whole concept of a soulmate and you thought this person was that and it didn't work out. Man, I'm not living my life like that. If I'm with somebody for 30 years and it didn't work out, then that's just what it is. I learned a lot within those 30 years. I'm not finna be like, man, I thought that was the one I was going. Nope. I don't know anything. I don't know anything like that to be for certain. I can't be 100% certain. You know, and when people start asking me, do you believe in soulmates and all this? My answer is no, because I'm not certain about any of that. And I'm not about to attach myself to anything like that. I'm not about to look at somebody and say, I knew she was the one and we gonna be together forever. Boy, that's an obsession. And that's a scary reality to live in. I'm not going to tell myself that. If we so happen to be together forever, then that's cool. But if not, that's also cool. And however long you was in my life, I appreciate that time and the lessons that I learned while we was together. And that's how that's going to go. That's how that's going to go. I ain't with that. I ain't with it. You know, if that's how you like to look at it, cool, be my guest, but I'm not living like that. I ain't doing it. True words worth. Peace. What's happening? Chaz, peace. What's going on? Like, I'm good. Because like I told y'all, man, one of the folks that I look up to, you know, stick from Dead Prez, him and his wife had broken up, and then, man, they was married. They separated, man. They were married for a very long time. People was like, man, how you gonna be married that long, and how y'all gonna divorce after being married for that long, being married for 20 years and 30 years, all this type of stuff? I'm like, damn, just because I'm married to somebody for 20, 30 years don't mean I gotta stay with them if things ain't going right. I said, man, of course ain't nobody just gonna wake up one year and be like, one day and this is it, we need to separate. Man, it's an ongoing process. And people stick together for a lot of different reasons. Whether you got kids, y'all might be living together and don't feel like moving, like all type of stuff, man, can contribute to people staying together longer than they need to be. You know, but I'm not about to be like, man, since I've been with somebody for so long, I might as well just stay with them. And you unhappy, man, I'm not finna do that. Antonio Lindell, peace, what's happening? Like I'm good. I'm good on that reality, yo. Like I'm good. Like if we growing apart and it's been 20 years, then that's just what it is. I ain't finna force that. I'm not finna be like, oh, we gotta stick it out because it's been 20 years. No, it's not happening. Like it's not working. Neither party is happy. It is time for us to move on. You know what I'm saying? So we just gotta be real like that, for real. Like y'all be attached to these concepts and these ideas and these statuses, man. That stuff is a problem. Stuff is a problem, man. If things ain't working out for your situation, they are not working out. You have got to learn to disconnect and be like, this is not working. We got to go our separate ways. It's cool. You gave it your all, hopefully. The other person gave it their all, hopefully. It just didn't work. Move on. Y'all playing around with time. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all wasting valuable time. You was in a situation for 10 years with a person. Whole while, five of those years, y'all know y'all shouldn't have been together. Man, you can't get them 5 years back, fam. Y'all was in a 10-year situation, and 5 of those years, y'all already knew that this wasn't really it. Y'all wasted 5 years, and you can't get it back. You cannot get the 5 years back. So y'all got to stop playing around with this time, man. Y'all got to stop playing around with this time, man. A lot of people wasting time. Y'all afraid to break off from these things for whatever reason, man. Stop having that fear. Stop entertaining that fear. Cameron, for sure. And been at a job for 20 years and you dedicated and committed to that job. And the moment that job is ready to downsize, you the first one to go. Because they don't want to pay you because you've been there for 20 years. So they gonna bring in the young bulls that they could pay less to do the same job. So they ain't got no commitment to you, but you committed to them. You've been there 20 years. You afraid to quit, and they treat you all type of trash, man. Forget all of that nonsense, man. I'm not about to be dedicated like that to no job, because the moment they ready to downsize, the moment they got to get rid of positions, I'm gone, because I've been there 20 years, so they got to pay me. I ain't finna just take any old thing, and they know that. So you the first one out of there. Man, nobody got time for that. I'm definitely not gonna commit myself and dedicate and attach myself to a job, to a corporation. Nope. But I know plenty of people that do that. Man, these places don't care nothing about you, man. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I got to make my rounds. I got to go up to this gym, finish off my second half of my day at this gym. That concludes this build, man. So I appreciate all of y'all tapping in, man. If you're tapping in late, go back, rewind that joint. This was a productive build, an efficient build, man. We dropped a lot of jewels, you know. So I appreciate all of y'all commenting, man, tapping in with the kid, taking the time out of y'all wonderful Tuesday to listen to what I had to say and add on. You know, as always, it's a pleasure to chop it up with y'all. But I'm gonna let y'all get back to enjoying the rest of y'all Tuesday. I might try to tap in with y'all again on like Thursday or something. I got some more books that I'm trying to dive into and read. Been slacking on the reading, so I'm back on my studying grind, my studious grind. But man, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Tuesday, man. Y'all stay healthy, y'all stay powerful, y'all stay peaceful out here. I'm out. Peace.